So you decided to move to Phoenix, Arizona. The question now is, which city would you like to live in within the greater Phoenix area? So it's a rather large county, but there's a lot of fun choices. I'm here to give you my top 3. So we're going to go through each of these cities and basically give you a kind of a fast and furious overview of what each city, where it came from, where it's at, where it's going. And I'll count them down 3 to 1. So we're here. When's that start? Well, it starts right now. All right, well, we've arrived at the number 3 choice of my top 3 cities in Arizona, and that would be Chandler, Arizona. Now, Chandler is located about 25 minutes outside of this Phoenix city proper. It's very easily arrived at by coming out on the 10, heading east, and then you have your choice where you can continue on heading. It says it's 10 east, but you're actually heading south towards Tucson. But that'll take you down the west side of Chandler. If you choose to continue on US 60. Well, that'll take you on the north side of Chandler, and then you can head south from there depending on what cross street that you're looking at. But city of Chandler, it's not too far away from Phoenix. It is out in the East Valley, and that's a very popular part of town for young families and people that really want to get out of the city but yet don't want to be too far away from the city. So the East Valley's really come a long way in the time that I've lived here. Now, it was incorporated back in 1920, but it really started taking off when Intel chose to locate one of their fabrication facilities here in 1980. In fact, I think it was October 1980 where they first came off the first line there. So, and that's right around the time that I moved to Arizona. I came out here from Orange County, and back in 1982, and it was really starting to go. The East Valley was still kind of a brand new area. Chandler was getting going, and Intel bringing all kinds of jobs and their ancillary businesses and everything. It really promoted Chandler's growth. Now, what does that mean? Well, Chandler grows now about 2% a year. Right now, the population is about 285,000 people. And the average age is around 36, 37 years old, so it's a relatively young community. And again, it's always been kind of known, especially out in the East Valley and other cities like it, it's known for kind of its benefits for families. And it's really where families tend to want to be because there's a lot of things related and good for families to do. So it's a very popular place. I'm tripping over my tongue. Average median, or I'd say the median income is around $135,000 a year. And I would say home ownership is right around 65%. So it's a decent number of homeowners, and that's a good thing. There's also an educated community. So there's a lot of up and coming things going on in Chandler. In fact, as we take a look around the downtown area, this is right in the downtown heart of Chandler, and it's a neat little place because there's a lot of shops and restaurants, as you can see, and there's lots of cool stuff for families to do as well as for adults just to go out and play and mess around. So the neatest thing that I really like about Chandler is, well, one, everything is outside, just like a lot of places in Arizona. Why not? It's the sunshine, right? So we take advantage of that. As you can see, there's a lot of bars and restaurants that have open patios, and especially with COVID and everybody moving with patios and things like that, it really made a big difference, and now we're taking advantage of it, reaping the benefits of all those changes. So Chandler is definitely a top choice for me. Let's find out what number 2 is, but before we do that, let's go and take a look at the neighborhood. Just give you a brief drive-by to kind of give you an idea what the homes look like in Chandler, Arizona, and then we'll move on to our number 2 choice. Now that we've taken a look around Chandler, let's take a look at my number 2 choice, and that would be Gilbert, Arizona. Now, Gilbert is kind of near and dear to my heart because it's one of the first cities it's the first city I bought and built a home in. And that was back in the 90s. So it's really come a long way. I will say that it's a little bit further east on the map than Chandler, like we saw. It's right next to Chandler, but a little bit further east. So it's probably 5-6 miles further east on the, if you continue out on US 60 to the east, you'll find to the south of 60 is Gilbert, Arizona. Now, the population is right around the same as Chandler, about 281,000. One thing I didn't mention with Chandler and Gilbert, they're both very well rated in schools. You'll find a lot of A-rated schools there. I did want to make mention of that. So they're both very good places for schools. And that I kind of alluded to it when we were talking about how families are important and kind of conducive to living there. That's one of the reasons why is they got really good schools. Okay, so as far as the population growth, again, growing just like Chandler, about 2% a year. But I will say the one thing that's vastly different and a little bit more than the Chandler area is the percentage of home ownership. Percentage of home ownership in Gilbert is about 73%. So there's a lot more owners than there would be renters. And that's one of the reasons why it's contributed to its growth, but it's also contributed to it's kept its small town feel. In fact, if we take a look around in the downtown area, Gilbert has a really neat downtown area that there's a lot of bars and restaurants, and this is another thing that's really come of age because when I moved out here, I tell you, there was nothing out in Gilbert. I mean, there was a whole bunch of cows and a lot of farmland. In fact, the 60 didn't even go out much further than where we lived on Bella Vista. So what it came down to was there was a farm with a bunch of cows on it. They picked the cows up, moved them further south. That's where they built my first house. So at that time, the downtown area there was a few places because it's been around a while, but at the same time, it really didn't take off until I'd say the last 10, 15 years. As you can see, places like Joe's Barbecue and the Liberty Market and things like that downtown. Now, you wouldn't recognize the place if you were to step back in time and come forward. Crazy. There's all kinds of bars and restaurants now right in the downtown area that are a lot of fun to go to. And the neat thing is you don't have to drive very far because Gilbert is geographically not very large. It's only got about, like I said, 280,000 people. So it's conveniently located. Great for families. Again, the median age in Gilbert is around 35 years old, just like Chandler. So there's benefits. Again, a young community, very family friendly. There's lots of parks and things to do. And that's subject of another video. We'll kind of give you brief pictures of them now. But if you want to take a look and get a little bit more in depth, there's certainly a video of why I want to move to Gilbert, Arizona on my page. So you want to take a look at that. So, so this is Gilbert. Let's take a look around and we'll go through the neighborhoods just like we did with Chandler, and then we'll move on to my #1 choice, all the cities in Phoenix, Arizona. Gilbert from $550 upwards to $1 million. Okay, we've arrived at my favorite city in all of Phoenix, and that is Scottsdale, Arizona. Now, Scottsdale, if you look at it on a map, if you take a look from the Phoenix airport, again, everything that's where everybody flies into. So it's to the northeast of the Phoenix proper, and it's about 20-25 minutes. In fact, most of the suburbs are about 20 to 25 minutes away from Phoenix proper and the airport. So it's a little bit to the north and east. Neat thing about Scottsdale is it's kind of 3 separate towns all in the same town called Scottsdale. There's South Scottsdale, Scottsdale, and then North Scottsdale. North Scottsdale is a place that has really come of age, I'll say, in the last 10, 15 years, because when I first moved out here, there was no North Scottsdale. It was, might have been there, but there was no development, no homes or anything like that. Now it's become the place to be if you've got a bunch of money to spend and you want a beautiful place with lots of great views. But Scottsdale itself, in fact, if you take a look at these videos, downtown, neat town. In fact, it's called Old Town down in Scottsdale, and they've really taken advantage of the western nature of it. There's lots of art shops down there, bars and restaurants, a lot of activity right around Main Street and Scottsdale Road. You're kind of right in the heart of Old Town Scottsdale, and there's a lot of cool stuff to do. A lot of the places have been there for quite a long time, so that's a neat thing about Scottsdale. Now, if you look at the population, it's right around the same as, and it's a little bit less, I'll say, but right around the same as Chandler and Gilbert at around 246,000. The average age is right around, it's a little bit older. I think it has to do a lot with the fact that it's a little more expensive in Scottsdale. The median home price is around just shy of 800,000, whereas in Chandler and Scottsdale it's right around $500,000 or so, maybe 575 for Gilbert. So it's a little more expensive, and that's the median price, so half above, half below, and that's not even really accommodating for the the real expensive property up in North Scottsdale. I mean, you're getting property, some of the most expensive real estate in the Phoenix Valley is in Scottsdale, Arizona. So, in fact, I saw a property the other day. It's on the market for $55 million. So there's a lot of expensive real estate. In fact, in another video, we'll go and take you through all the details in Scottsdale. So if you're thinking about moving to Scottsdale, I've got a video for you that'll give you a little bit more detail than this one. But I will say, Scottsdale's a fun place. There's a lot of cool stuff to do. There's parks. There's a lot of, it's family oriented, but it's also upscale. There's a lot of very nice places to do if you're a young adult, old adult. There's lots of fun stuff to go out and do at nighttime, daytime, all kinds of good stuff. In terms of the ownership, it's about 66.5%, so right around what Chandler was. But there's some renting, but again, it's mostly high end or mid-range. In South Scottsdale, there is on the lower end, but again, it's still Scottsdale, so you're paying for that Scottsdale address, and that's something you want to think about. As far as the average income, or the median income rather, it's around $135,000, so it's probably the highest of the three. But at the same time, Scottsdale, again, it's always been the kind of the creme de la creme of the Phoenix area, and that's not even really talking about North Scottsdale. That's where, again, anything really north. So very easy to get to. If you come out, you basically take you'll take the 10 out, and eventually you'll pick up the 101 north. And the 101 kind of runs north and south and runs right through the heart of both, all the way from South Scottsdale all the way up into North Scottsdale, and it will then wrap around to the east, or excuse me, to the west as it gets upwards on the south end of North Scottsdale. So it's real easy access. The 101 freeway really made a big difference. In fact, I remember back, oh gosh, 20 years ago or so, before the 101 was actually built, because the 101 is on Indian land. So there were basically the freeway overpasses built, but there was no freeway in the middle of them because the negotiations with the Native Americans broke down, and so these overpasses sat in the middle of the desert for years and years until they reached an agreement to put the freeways back in. And then when that happened, it really provided for the extreme growth, and that's really when North Scottsdale really started to really pop, because it was easy to get to. Before that time, Pima was the only north and south road, and it was just a 2-lane road, wasn't really much to speak of. In fact, it's still really, haven't improved it because of the 101. So thankfully the 101's there now. It's easy. You can get up into North Scottsdale without any trouble. You can get to South and Midtown Scottsdale real easy. So it's very convenient, easy to get to from the airport, all kinds of good stuff. So why don't we take a look at some of the neighborhoods in the Scottsdale area, give you an idea what they look like, and then we'll finish up this particular video. All right, so that wraps it up. That's my top 3. We first started in Chandler, Arizona, and we took a look at my whole hometown in Arizona, which would be Gilbert, and then we finally finished it off with a look at Scottsdale. And I would say Scottsdale is it's probably the creme de la creme, and there's some other nice towns, but that's one I like the most because there's a lot of stuff to do there. So that's what would be my favorite. So if you like this video and you want more information about either Chandler, Scottsdale, or Gilbert, or any of the cities in Phoenix, we'll be doing videos on all of them and updating them regularly. Make sure you click subscribe and tap that notification button so you make sure you get all that information. And our how to get in touch with us is in the description of the video. And if there's ever anything we can do at eXp Realty, again, my name is Mark Phillips, and I wish you a very good day. We'll see you on the next one.